What is up, Auburn fans? How are we doing on this Tuesday night? And welcome back for another edition of Auburn Primetime Live. I'm glad to be here. I'm your host, Blake Lane. And before we get started tonight, please like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel, y'all. Click the bell for notifications so you can be up to date with all the content dropping on this channel. I appreciate each and every one of you. And the growth of this channel already, man, we're kicking up. We're ready to take off. So just wanted to thank each and every one of you. Mike, I see you over there, man. War Dam, brother, glad to have you. Miss Karen, I see you as well. War Dam, Eagle fam. Glad y'all could be here this Tuesday night. So I think, I was sitting here and I was thinking about what to talk about, yesterday, and because I feel like everybody's talking about what's going on in recruiting, but I feel like I had to give my spin on it, right? I've heard everybody else's. I've listened to all the podcasts, and I've listened to all the hoopla on Twitter, and I've read all the threads, and I just had to give my take on what is happening at Auburn right now on the recruiting trail. And I saw a graphic today by 247 Sports, and I think Auburn was like 81st in recruiting, and Hawaii was ahead of Auburn. Okay. It was like Charlotte, James Madison, and somebody else. That y'all, it's just embarrassing right now. And I don't care whoever wants to, get on here or on Twitter with me and say, well, if you win, okay, I get that. All right, I get that. But it is still Auburn football, and it's still embarrassing what's going on right now. Losing these kids, you got kids in your backyard. They're picking a team that went 2-10 last year, or they're picking the Florida Gators, who are kind of in the same boat as you. Yeah, they had a little upward trajectory last year. And they had DJ Lagway come in and show some promising signs, but they still went 7-5. And I think Billy's still on the hot seat because that schedule is brutal once again. So they're not like out of the blue. They're not out of the clear yet, but they're still getting kids. And Auburn, it just feels like the pressure is mounting and it's building up. And it really feels like this year, y'all, we thought 8 wins. It might have to be more. It might have to be more now with what's going on in recruiting. It might have to be more. Now, when you talk about the win side of it, the recruiting doesn't affect what you have for the 2025 season, right? So you're going to play these games with what you got on campus right now. These kids ain't playing for you this year. So this group have to take care of what's at stake, of what's at hand, the job at hand. They have to go get it. And it's got to be now. And a lot of people got mad at me for saying that on Twitter the other day, right? A lot of people come in and were like, well, you can't win games in June. Okay, well, we're not winning games at all right now. And what I mean by it has to start now is I mean August 29th in Waco, Texas. We have to go. We have to go right now, then and there in Waco, Texas, on their field, and we need to stomp them. And I saw it yesterday. Well, I'm not saying that Baylor is a must-win game because Auburn has plenty more opportunities left on the schedule. Y'all, this is exactly what I meant by living in fairy tale land. That's exactly what I meant. A lot of people got mad at me for saying that. Stop. You have to stop. Baylor, yes. Are they a good football program? Yes. Are they anything close to what Auburn has been in the past? Absolutely not. Were they good last year? Yes. Were they great? Absolutely not. Did they have a great offense? Yes. Was their defense absolutely terrible? Yes. So if you can't go out to Waco, Texas and beat Baylor, I don't see it happening in the Southeastern Conference. I don't. So that is what I mean. When I send that tweet out, it has to start right now. And then I got a quote tweet off of my tweet saying, "Oh, just shut the program down. Just shut the program down." I was like, look, man, we don't have to go down this route. We don't. And then as we're tweeting back and forth, we lose a commitment. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, this is embarrassing. Because this isn't Auburn. But I can tell you this. You can only hope and pray and you can only sell to these kids the dream, right? You can only throw out there, well, I hope Auburn is going to get back to we hope it's going to get back to this. You can only sell that vision for so long. And I can tell you what hurts that vision. And people hate when I bring it up. But getting your tail kicked by New Mexico State in Jordan-Hare Stadium hurts that vision. Getting your tail kicked by Vanderbilt in Jordan-Hare Stadium hurts that vision. Losing to Arkansas and Sam Pittman hurts that vision. Losing to Cal hurts that vision. And people hate when I talk about it, but it has to be talked about. It has to be. And people say, well, we still signed this class. Yes, we did. But guess what? These 2026 kids, they're saying, hey, look, man, I don't know if I'm going to go to Auburn just yet because maybe those guys made a mistake. Like let me see how the season pans out before I jump on this boat. Because they've been doing a whole lot of talking and not a lot of walking. That's why I said yesterday, you got to stop talking the talk, and it's time to walk the walk. Because you've been doing a whole lot of this. Now I got to see wins start to roll in. Now what I'll say to that is, yes, am I pissed off about recruiting? Yes. Am I excited about the 2025 Auburn Tigers football team? Absolutely, yes. I think this team could be special and get it back on track. So don't get lost with me harping on what's going on right now. Don't think that I'm taking this and I'm downing this 2025 team. I'm not. Because I don't think that what's going on has to do with the effort of this staff like the last guy we had. No, I think they're balls to the walls and they're getting after it. I do. I think they're getting in heated recruiting battles. Yes, I get money's being thrown around, all that stuff, whatever. I'm not on that side of it. And I think they're trying. The efforts are there. They're in big-time names and going after big-time kids that are highly touted. So I don't think it's an effort thing. I just think these kids are looking at Auburn football and they haven't seen success in their lifetime. You got to think, the last time Auburn went to the SEC championship game, these kids were what, 9 years old? So they weren't watching college football at 9 years old. So they haven't seen the success. So in their minds, they have to go to YouTube and search up the Auburn greats. So it's not an effort thing. It's just you haven't had it on your side since 2019. It hasn't been going for you since 2019. And I hate it, but you have to show a product on the field. You have to. You have to show up on Saturdays, and you can't be losing these games like you lost them last year. Yes, Thomas, winning cures everything. It does, man. It fixes everything. But you can't go out and drop a game to Baylor, okay? So that is my thing with the Auburn fan base right now, is we have to stop with just saying, oh, well, this game doesn't matter, or this game isn't no, they're all must wins. Because we're at a point in Auburn football where we need to win every game. We need to go into every single football game saying this is a must win. South Alabama, must win. It's Auburn. Start acting like it. That's how I'm feeling. Because we have gotten to a point where we're trying to nitpick. And we're, oh, with this one, we can lose this one. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and count Georgia as a loss. Why? Why are we counting Georgia as a loss? We get them at home. They have a new starting quarterback. There is no more Carson Beck. He's at Miami now. So why are we just all of a sudden counting Georgia as a loss? Hell no. Stop. They got to line up just like we do. And we're at the crib. And it's at night. Stop. That is the thing with Auburn fans right now that frustrates me. Is we're just going down the line and we're like, okay, well, we can maneuver our way. No, go win every damn game. Stop doing that. I'm tired of that. You go into every football game wanting to beat the piss out of somebody. I want to handle business like Georgia. I want to handle business like Alabama. I want to handle business like Tennessee has the last couple years with Heupel. That's how I want to carry Michigan and Ohio State. And I know Michigan had a down year last year, but I want to have those types of years. And I want our fan base to get back on that trajectory of going into every game, man, and it mattering. It matters. It's tough being an Auburn fan, especially right now. It's 1 minute when Auburn's on the highs, it's like they'll rip your heart out, right? Like basketball. I get out to San Antonio, they rip my heart out. Baseball, I feel like we're going to the College World Series. I got on here and told you guys that Auburn baseball, man, they could be playing for a national championship. Well, the team that knocked us out, they played for the national championship, and a team that we swept won the national championship. So I felt good in my prediction. It just fell a little bit short, and Auburn baseball ripped our hearts out, right? So when we're on the highs, we're getting our hearts ripped out, and when we're on the lows, it's just like, boy, we're down there. And it's like somebody's got the voodoo doll, and they're just sticking us every single time, man. So it's rough right now, but, like Thomas said, winning cures everything. It fixes all the problems. It fixes all the problems. Now, on the recruiting side of things, look, Xavier Tiller, Florida State, this is my thing right here with I don't think it's an effort thing. And I think these kids are just saying, hey, you're going to have to show me. You're going to have to prove it to me. And I think this is also a thing from Florida State is like a last gasp of them and their coaching staff and Norvell on his last little hurrah. Like you have to go and try everything you possibly can. You have to put all the biscuits in the basket and the noodles in the soup, man. You got to do everything because you're on your last leg. You went 2-10 last year. So they're going to try to get any and every player they possibly can. And I think they're unloading on some guys, and it happens. And I think Xavier Tiller is still getting recruited by Auburn, and I still think they're high on him, and they're going to continue to push for him. But I think Xavier Tiller is saying, hey, show me first. If you show me, I'm going to flip back. Marquez Daniel, a guy from right down the street in Tuskegee. You think, man, he's got to be an Auburn lock. He's got to be an Auburn lock. This kid, there's no way Auburn lets him get out of this. There's no way. He's 15 minutes down the street. There's no way. He commits to Billy Napier and the Florida Gators. And you're like, man, all of this work that Hugh Freeze has done with the wide receiver room, all of these cats, Cam Coleman, and the list goes on. You go get Eric Singleton Jr., and you walk to Florida. So, to me, I was sitting there and I was like, man, what is going on? Like, this kid, I mean, he could drive back and forth to the university every day if he wanted to. What's happening? And I still think it's another situation of, he's like, hey, man, you got to prove it to me. You got to show me that you want to win. You got to stop losing to Cal. You look at Florida last year, folks. Yeah, they got blown out against Miami in game 1. But once Lagway come in, they looked better. They won a bowl game. Remember 2 years ago we talked about Maryland, and some people were saying, oh, it's just the Music City Bowl. No, that stuff matters, okay? People can sit there and say that bowl games don't matter, and it's the Pop-Tart Bowl and all that. Look, kids still pay attention to that. They still watch the games, and they still notice what teams win their bowl games and what teams lose their bowl games. See, that's where I think we've gone a little too far off the mountain, off the ledge, is a lot of these folks, they say, well, man, it's just about the money. It's just whoever throws the biggest bag. I had a guy yesterday on my Twitter. I put that post out, and he said, don't kid yourself. It's all about money. And when I look at these guys, I'm like, yeah, are they getting paid handsomely? Sure they are. Okay, there are a bunch of kids who are going to take advantage of getting as much money as they possibly can. I mean, that's what we were taught when we were growing up. Is they used to always tell us, hey, work hard. Your parents used to tell you, work hard and make as much money as you possibly can, so you can retire. You can retire at an early age, right? That's what my dad always told me. Hey, go bust your tail and try to make as much money as you possibly can, so you can get out of here and relax and live a good life. So these kids still want to win, y'all. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. These kids, they still want to play in big-time games. Because guess what? I responded to the guy, and I said, don't kid yourself. Because the NFL is the major goal. He responded back. He said, well, only 1% of these kids make the NFL. I said, it's the goal. Okay? It's the goal. Are they all going to make it? No. Are some of them not going to pan out and even play? Sure. There's going to be some that are going to say, oh, man, we thought he was a 4-star, but he's having to transfer to Troy now because he didn't pan out. Sure, that's going to happen. But they still want to win. So when it comes down to the commitment process, the recruiting process, these coaches enter the living room. Well, I know he's retired, but hey, DeBoer walks into a living room and he says, hey, when you come to Tuscaloosa, Nick Saban's going to be there. And they start taking pictures with Nick Saban. Like, oh, man. And Nick's like, hey, man, look at these. Look at these rings, man. You want one? And they're sitting there and they're going, oh, man. Yeah, I want one. Yeah, I want to play in Pasadena. Yeah, I want to play. I want to play in the college football playoff. That still goes on. All right. Stop thinking everything's about money and NIL deals. And look, losing programs come up with those excuses. It's not always about who's the highest bidder. Now, it helps. Yeah, it helps. But I can tell you this. Do you think Ryan Williams chose Alabama over Auburn because of money? No. No. No, Ryan Williams chose Alabama over Auburn because you can go pull up the list of Alabama wide receivers in the Nick Saban era that moved on to the National Football League and had pretty damn good careers in the National Football League. One is one of the greatest wide receivers that we will ever see play. So that is why he chose Alabama. And I think as Auburn fans, sometimes we get lost in that. Auburn hasn't had a wide receiver do anything. We haven't. What have we produced? I mean, KLS. What, did he get drafted in the 5th round? And he's been one of the best Auburn wide receivers. I know it was 1 year, but there's nothing there. There's nothing to walk into the facility and say, "Hey, look at that guy, man." No, you have to. Hugh Freeze had to call DK Metcalf. He played at Ole Miss, not Auburn. So we don't have that long list. Brett said Jerry Rice didn't go to Bama. No, I didn't say the greatest. All right, I didn't say the greatest, Brett. I said one of the greatest. Julio Jones, one of the greatest we will ever see. But we don't have that list, right? And I think a lot of fans, they're like, oh, well, Alabama paid more. Look, y'all, I just told you KLS was our best receiver in a long time. And he got drafted in the 5th round. Guess what? High school kids, they watch the NFL draft. How many first-round picks did Auburn have this year? How many go Google this one for me. How many first-round picks has Auburn had in the past 5 to 10 years? Go Google it for me. Not many. I didn't look that stat up, but I just running the names through my mind, not many. Now go look at how many first-round picks Georgia has had in that time span. Go look at how many first-round picks Alabama has had in that time span. Go look at how many first-round picks LSU has had in that time span. High school kids watch that stuff. They watch the NFL draft. And when your best player on your football team doesn't get drafted until the 4th round, it's a knock, man. It's a knock. So I think that's one thing that you can throw into this. These kids, they're not seeing Auburn players get drafted. They're not. And it's hurting you. It's killing you. And a lot of that, is you go 5 and 7, you're not going to get the TV time. You're not going to get talked about. You're not, your tape's not going to get flashed all over ESPN and all that. I get it. So it's got to change. It's got to come to a stop. And it starts now, 2025. Shadarius Toodle, guy from my high school, Cottage Christian Academy. 6'3", 210 linebacker. I've watched him play multiple times. He flips to Georgia. Once again, everybody's saying, oh, well, Kirby's just dumping money, and Kirby did this, and his dad, Toodle's dad shopping him around. Look at the list of Georgia linebackers that Kirby Smart has produced since he's been there, and go look at the list of Auburn linebackers in that same time span. Now, we've had some good ones, but I'm talking about NFL draft, NFL careers, and things like that. Kids, pay attention to it, man, and you are oblivious if you think otherwise. Kids, pay attention to it. So that is what I'm tired of hearing, that it's all about money. I just think that is an excuse that we run into the ground, is that it's all about money. these dudes were getting paid way before NIL come through. Okay? It's just legal now. So don't get it twisted. They still want to win football games. They still look at the NFL draft. They still see what these teams do in bowl games and the trajectory of the program. Stop losing sight of that. Devin Carter, another guy that you just thought you had in the bag, right? And you heard the whispers and the rumors about the Florida State stuff. And look, his dad played at Florida State, so I kind of get it, all right? I kind of get it. One thing I don't get is why do you want to go play wide receiver at Florida State? Why? One, they just went 2-10. Two, Gus Malzahn's the new offensive coordinator. So you want Gus Malzahn's offense, which I think is a one-man route tree offense. It's a one-man option and that's it. A one read and go. That's Gus, the Gus bus. All right. Why do you want to go play wide receiver for that? Because your dad played there? Cool. That's great. I don't know. I think this is just happens to be another, you got to show me. You got to show me. I'm tired of seeing Auburn lose to Cal. This kid's out of Georgia, so you know he's familiar with Auburn. You know he's familiar with Auburn. That's where Auburn, that's the pipeline, man. Auburn loves them Georgia kids. Man, back when Auburn was winning and we were hooting and hollering and having a good old time. And I can remember back in my teenage years where Auburn was just dominant, you know. The pipeline was in Georgia. And you look up and down Auburn's roster. So you know them Georgia kids are very familiar with Auburn football. And, you know, dad played there and all that. That's cool. I just still think Auburn's in this battle. And it's a waiting game. And it's going to be a waiting game until, man, I say the whole season. Like you gotta show an upward trajectory of. Shoot, I said earlier in the show that it might take more than 8 games with all of this, because I don't know how Auburn. It's so bad right now. Can you get back into the top 10? I mean, let me know in the comments what do y'all think, because that's a heavy climb. I think it's like in the teens now because you're so far back. I mean, we have 5 commits. I mean, if all of these guys hop back in the boat, and like a Marquez Daniel, if he can get in there, then yeah, I don't know. It just seems like we're behind, and it's all due to winning and losing. So another guy, Trenton Henderson, man, a guy that we've been in on. It seemed like positive vibes for Auburn. A guy from Pensacola, Florida, and you feel like, man, Auburn's going to go get this guy. And he releases his top 3, and it's Florida, Texas, and LSU. Everybody thinks that Florida's the leader. Florida kid, right? A position where last year you recruited well at, and at the edge position, I think you got a stud there in the 2024 class. But this is a guy that you wanted to bring in, and you get ripped, and not even on his top 3, not even on the graphic. It just seems like it's plummeting. It just seems like bad news after bad news, right? And it's tough. It's tough. It's I see y'all in the comments, and it's wow. Oh, I just saw this one. Top 25 might not happen. So, okay, let me ask y'all this, and I want y'all to be honest. If Auburn doesn't get into the top, say Auburn goes 9-3 and they don't get into the top 25 in recruiting, how do y'all feel? me asking, how do y'all feel about that? Is that acceptable? Is it acceptable for Auburn not to get into the top 25 in the 2025 class? Now, I know it's going to be a light class. I get that. But is it acceptable? And you're getting your tails kicked by the University of Alabama. See, we did all that hoopla last year of oh, it's our state now. It's our state. It's our time to rock. We're taking the state over. And then, boy, they switched up how they recruited in Tuscaloosa, and they said, hold on 1 minute. We've let y'all have your fun. We're taking it back. And that's what's happening right now. And I get it, y'all. I get it. Y'all don't like when I talk about Alabama. I understand it. But guess what? They're the cream of the crop of college football, man. And the way they go about their business over there is just different. The way they recruit is just different. That's how it is. I mean, they've had the two greatest dynasties in college football history. And so it's tough to not get on here and bring them up, and because you want to mirror them. That's your rival. You know, they say they're big brother, and they say we're little brother. You want to mirror them and do everything they do and some. And right now you're getting your butt kicked. Let's see, Miss Karen says, Auburn fans don't want to face facts. We've been sucking for a long time. You know, I love Auburn fans. I do. I really do. I think it's one of the greatest fan bases in college sports. But when I said that fairy tale comment, is some people just think that everything's going to be okay. No, we're close to falling into a Tennessee territory where we can't find a coach to get it right. We go on a 20-year drought of just being absolutely terrible. We maybe get into some NCAA violations like they did. And I know everything that happened there and all that, whatever. But we're just like, they lost to Georgia State and all this stuff. Like, it was just bad. For 20 years, Tennessee was that bad. And I just feel like Auburn is close to that, where this thing might not get better. That's how I feel. Sometimes. Now, like I told y'all, 2025 team, I love them. I think they're going to surprise folks. I can't wait for kickoff. But, man, it just sometimes it feels like that we're headed to that route. Thomas Manville with the super chat, the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Thomas. War damn Eagle, brother. Thank you so much. And I wanted to throw something out there real quick about this channel. We are in the process of getting memberships and all that stuff, trying to get them up and going. So we'll have that available. If you want to join, that's great. If you don't, I understand. It is totally up to you. I know there's 1,000 Auburn podcasts out there, but I thank you for being here with me and enjoying this Tuesday night, man. So I just wanted to let y'all know. I know it's been a little work in progress. I don't even have an intro video yet, so we're still in the midst of making all of that happen. So, but it's coming along. It's coming along, and look, there is, I guess, somewhat of good news, if you want to say that. Man, I'm going to absolutely butcher his name, but it is Nikal Heppy. Nikal Heppy, 6'7", 370, offensive tackle from overseas, and played with the NFL Academy, trained with the NFL Academy. So if a bunch of you don't know what the NFL Academy is, it's like a feeding system for guys over there that really are trying to get into American football, and it helps them get recruited and funneled to America to play at a big-time university. And so he has actually never played a snap of American football. So it's going to be a work in progress. It is not a plug-and-play guy. I think he could be a guy that never sees the field. Let's be honest. He could be a guy that never plays it down at Auburn University. Or he could blossom into something special. I haven't watched a lick of tape. I know Thomas, we talked a little bit before I went live, and Thomas watched a little bit, and it's just a wait-and-see game. It's a wait-and-see game. He is a big boy, Karen. He's got the body. The body's there, but he grew up playing rugby. A little different over here with American football. I get it where he's from. Rugby's the thing. Yeah, that's awesome, right? I'll take the commitment right now. I'll take the commitment. I'm glad he's an Auburn Tiger. With what Auburn has went through this past week, you'll take the commitment. You'll try to develop him and make him into a great player. And if that happens, great. We'll come back to this episode and we'll be like, hey, he panned out. That's awesome. If he doesn't pan out, you're going to say, hey, look, we took a chance on a guy and it didn't work. And that's okay. That's okay. So it's a project to say, who knows with him never playing American football and coming from overseas. You just don't know. So I'm not going to get on here and boost it up and be like, oh, my goodness, we got to, I'm not going to do that. I need you all to look up my favorite game of all time, 1916 Georgia Tech versus Cumberland. I try to win every game like that. Is that the 229 game or whatever? That's insane. Mike, let's get back to yours. I say it's not acceptable, but it's forgivable to me because we could light up the portal. Okay, great point from Mike here. Great point. I think I'm with you right here with it. It's forgivable if you start winning games, if you don't climb back, if you do make that big jump from I think, what did I say, 247 had us at 81. Say you jump all the way to 27th and you go 9-3. It's forgivable. And you can just pound the portal and try to piece something together for 2026. And, then you start recruiting the 27 class really, really hard. So we're just in a wait and see mode, right? We're just in a wait and see mode. So you got to win. You got to win. And I know it's every Auburn podcaster and journalist and all of that. They just keep saying the same thing. Got to win. Got to win. Got to win. I think it was my guy Chad Tracy on Twitter the other day. He said, man, I just feel like every episode is the same thing from every podcaster. And I'm like, well, kind of can't help it, right? Kind of can't help it. It's all we got right now, talking negative recruiting news. So got to go win games, and it starts in Waco, Texas. So, y'all, I'm going to hop out of here. Tuesday night, I'm going to go kick it and have some fun time with the family. So I thank y'all for joining me. I will have an episode later this week, and we'll talk about I'll probably do something like the college football game, releasing the hostile environments, the top 25 hostile environments or something like that. So we'll just have a little fun episode drop later this week, and then we'll be back next Tuesday night for another Auburn Primetime Live. So if you, like I said at the beginning, if you can, like this video, share it out to somebody. It helps the algorithm, and we need it here as much as possible. And subscribe to the channel. All right, subscribe and click the bell for notifications. So love y'all, appreciate y'all. War Damn Eagle, and I will see y'all later this week. I'm out.
Hey y'all, this is Grant Sassery of LSU at the Voice of College Football Network. I'm here today to announce that the Voice of College Football Network now has its official website. It's been uploaded so you can look at all the latest news and content from the Voice of College Football Network. You can also look at different forums, channels, shows, and it has to show all the show schedules right here and the host. Make sure to check out the Voice of College Football's new website at vocfb.com. Once again, vocfb.com.